Well, what is up, everybody? It's me, Down Weeb, here with my first episode of the week, and I know you guys have been looking forward to this one. This is the next part of part 7 for What If Naruto Was the Avatar. Everybody loved the last part 6, which I put a lot of careful thought into when I was writing it, and I hope you guys like the name of the attacks. I didn't have a really interesting Japanese name or something like a Rasengan or anything like that. So I called it the Strike of the Earth God, and I hope that's cool enough, and I hope you guys like that. So we're gonna keep going on with that for his ultimate move so far as that one. And let's get right back into the story. So thank you guys for supporting that video. Keep supporting my channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers. Let's get there soon. And for 300 subs, I'll put out my Discord server. So thanks, guys, and let's get right into the video. As the dawn rises for that day, Naruto wakes up and remembers that the Leaf Village is still recovering from the attack on Konoha. He thinks sadly about the third Hokage's death as he sacrificed himself while Naruto was battling Gaara to kill Orochimaru, or at least his arms. Naruto thinks about this and hits his fist on his bedside. He could have been there. If he'd only been there, he could have saved the third Hokage, the old man. He thinks back to when he was a child and how Hiruzen was always there for him. And even though he wasn't there all the time when people were making fun of him, he was the only person Naruto could turn to at the time. Naruto sits up and thinks that he'll make the old man proud. He gets up for the day and begins walking around town, looking for Kakashi-sensei, as he has no idea for what their next mission or anything will be. He comes across Jiraiya, the teacher he had when he was training with Avatar Aang during the month before the Chunin exams took place. He says hello to Jiraiya and asks him how he's doing. Jiraiya comes up with an idea. Jiraiya asks Naruto how he feels on coming with him on a mission so that way he can help him find the Lady Tsunade. When Naruto hears about this, his ears perk up, and he decides that might be an excellent idea for training. He tells Jiraiya that he'll come with him to help him find the next Hokage. Naruto tells Kakashi-sensei and leaves a note saying that he'll be back soon. Naruto and Jiraiya begin leaving. Jiraiya comes up with an idea. After seeing what Naruto could do with the avatar powers he has, he thinks that evolving Naruto's chakra and his powers in chakra would perhaps even make his abilities with the avatar state greater, as he already had begun training Sage Mode at the minimum levels with Naruto, and Naruto's avatar strength of his feats has gone up in crazy high. Jiraiya begins training Naruto and begins explaining to him the Rasengan, his father's technique, which he doesn't tell him for now. Jiraiya begins explaining how speed, rotation, and power all work together in shaping the Rasengan. He creates the blue orb in his hand and shoves into that same tree, creating the same hole that we saw in the original show. When Naruto sees this, his eyes open wide and he thinks about all the things he could do, maybe even merging some powers together. He tells Jiraiya he'll train and he'll learn the Rasengan as his first real technique besides the Shadow Clone Jutsu. He begins training on using the Rasengan, and he occasionally has trouble. So instead of using chakra when he runs out of stamina, he begins using his bending styles. He forms the Rasengan, and he actually figures it out far faster than the original timeline, as he already knows how to create a bigger Rasengan using wind. He thinks about what Avatar Aang told him about creating the ball of air beneath him, how he has to fold it and continuously keep it spinning in order to make it travel so he can use it as his device of movement. He thinks if he can only take this and put it on a smaller scale, he'll be able to use the Rasengan. Naruto tries to create the airball technique that Avatar Aang had shown him to ride on. He creates the large one and then gets on top of it. He then gets back down and analyzes the technique. He tries to make it smaller. It gets half the size. Too big. Smaller. He finally gets to the point where he basically fit into his hand at the size of a basketball. He then throws it at a tree, and the tree gets some damage. He determines that his rotation has to be faster and more condensed. He now tries the same thing with chakra and creates a semi-Rasengan, the same that Jiraiya showed with the spinny circles, the half Rasengan. He actually gets this and shows Jiraiya that he's improved, and Jiraiya moves him on from using the water balloon to the rubber ball. Now that Naruto's training with this, it's much harder for him to use his chakra, as his chakra control is terrible in this timeline. He's been relying on his avatar powers so much and not really using any chakra abilities that when he's using chakra and trying to contain it, it's far harder for him. He figures it out about the time they get to Tsunade, So Naruto barely has a grasp on it. It takes him some time, but he can do it solo-handed without a shadow clone. All thanks to Avatar Aang's similar technique that he used. They find Lady Tsunade in a bar. Jiraiya is talking to Naruto when he sees the lady with the blonde hair, and he remembers her. He walks over with Naruto and they sit down, and he begins talking to Tsunade about her taking the position of Hokage. Tsunade begins making fun of the Hokage position and how Hiruzen was an old fool for ever taking up that job in the first place. Naruto grits his teeth and then pounds his fists on the table, and a blue energy surrounds him, which is his chakra as well as his rage. He looks at Tsunade and tells her that if she doesn't want to go back that bad to heal his friends Kakashi and as well as Sasuke from like not Sasuke, then he's gonna force her to go. By the way, we are going to have a flashback real quick. While Naruto and Jiraiya were on their way here, just as Naruto was using that airball technique to figure out the Rasengan, they'd stopped by in a small hot spring town. When Naruto was training in his room doing meditation techniques to absorb more nature energy, he hears a knock at the door and then answers the door. He sees immediately he can sense Itachi Uchiha and Kasame. He opens the door and then is ready as Samehara. The sword springs through the door and is about to pierce Naruto. Naruto easily dives his head back and avoids eye contact with Itachi. He then summons Earth and then pushes it out of the ground. This actually surprises Itachi as he didn't use chakra at all. So when this Earth just randomly shoots out of the ground and is about to spear Itachi in the face, his Sharingan has a split-second reaction and he barely dodges it. He's actually surprised at this and tells Kasami that he might be more than they bargained for. He's not using any chakra when he's using these techniques. Naruto then throws an air slash towards them by crossing his arms and throwing two. The slash goes towards them and Itachi uses a fireball jutsu to counter it. Then Naruto rushes forward and creates earth steps. He goes higher, and then jumps down with an axe blade kick. This kick goes towards Kisame, and Kisame basically phrases Samehara just in time. As Naruto kicks down with his strength, the actual blow has so much power behind it that it pushes the sword down onto Kisame. Naruto's way stronger in this timeline, needless to say, due to the Avatar state and the training he'd done during the month before, and with his added nature energy strength bonus from the Avatar state, which he hasn't activated yet, it's crazy high. Sasuke comes running in at this point and Itachi sees him. Itachi then does the neck grab meme thing with Sasuke and tells him that he doesn't have enough hate, knocks him out with the Izanagi, or not Izanagi, with his Genjutsu. He then goes back to fighting Naruto. Jiraiya arrives just in time as Naruto's about to wear down. He's been using too much nature energy as the Avatar and is actually beginning to run out of stamina, like his normal stamina. Naruto then thanks Jiraiya for coming and says that they can take him down. Jiraiya says it's not worth it and that they don't have enough time, and he creates a toad stomach surrounding him and Naruto. The two Akatsuki members escape, and Naruto vows that he'll hunt them down and destroy the rest of the Akatsuki someday. Continuing back to the future, he looks towards Tsunade and tells her that he's fought people way stronger than what he thinks she might be, and that he bets that he can take her down right there and now. She tells him that, guess what, if you can beat me, then I'll give you this necklace, and she explains about the necklace of the first Hokage. Naruto agrees and they head outside. Immediately when she hits the ground with her fist and creates the earthquake, Naruto's eyes widen, and then they tighten together as he gets angry. He tells her that ground did nothing to her, and that she just hurt the earth and scarred it. He then slams his hand on the ground and says, and mends it. The earth flows back together as if nothing had ever happened, and then tells Tsunade that what her actions have been won't be forgiven. He then rushes forward and uses an air slash towards Tsunade. Tsunade punches us with her own attack, blocks the air slash of her fist attack, which then causes an air attack to go towards Naruto. Naruto waves his hand and the air blows to the side, harmlessly bouncing off of him. He then forms a Rasengan, which surprises Tsunade, and lunges towards her, about to hit her with the Rasengan. She then blitzes out of the way and is about to chop Naruto in the neck, when suddenly a pillar of earth shoots out behind Naruto and blocks her blow. The rock is actually steel, like much harder rock that he knew she was going to attack from behind. This hurts her hand and causes red marks to appear on her fist. Naruto then re-pushes that back into the ground and then lunges towards Tsunade. He then tries to throw the last Rasengan that he made towards her. As he throws the Rasengan, he uses his wind avatar energy to push the Rasengan forward and continuously take the chakra and spin it. As it's about to hit Tsunade, Tsunade then grabs the Rasengan out of the air and crushes it. Naruto's eyes widen as he didn't realize she could be this strong. She then pushes Naruto back and then is breathing heavily. She tells Naruto that for a genin, he's way too strong and asks what Jiraiya had taught him. Naruto tells Tsunade about the Sage Mode training Naruto had done with Jiraiya. She looks towards Jiraiya and tells him that that's way too much for someone his age, and that it could be dangerous. Jiraiya just shakes his shoulders and tells her that it was for the right cause. Later, after Naruto goes to bed, she tells Jiraiya that she'll go back to the village and heal them, Kakashi and Sasuke, Naruto's friends, as well as consider becoming the Hokage. When Jiraiya asked what happened to her change of thought, she said that boy out there, if someone like at that level is so strong and determined, then she can help just a bit. Then, the next day, she goes to decline Orochimaru. Jiraiya and Naruto appear on the scene as Orochimaru and Kabuto are about to force her to help them. Jiraiya begins his battle with Orochimaru and summons Gamabunta. Then, Naruto begins to battle with Kabuto. As Tsunade sees blood, her eyes widen and she stops to the ground, as she doesn't want to. She still has that traumatized state from blood, even though she's a medical ninja. Kabuto and Naruto are pretty even in the fight, like in hand-to-hand combat. Naruto's actually at a slight advantage as he's far faster, and he uses a new idea that he came up with for a technique. He uses the air ball and he jumps on top of it. He then spins towards Kabuto, leaps up in the air as the air ball keeps rolling, and Kabuto has to block this. As he's holding back the wrecking ball, like how Choji does the wrecking ball with his air ball, Naruto then goes behind him and has a Rasengan in hand. He tells Kabuto that he shouldn't have picked on this was the wrong fight to pick with him. He then shoves the Rasengan to Kabuto's back, and his arms stretch backwards as he screams. The ball of air disappears and dissipates as Naruto commands it to, and then Kabuto goes slamming forward into a boulder. He's completely knocked out from that strike. Tsunade is impressed and gives Naruto the Hashirama's necklace. When Naruto thanks her and tells her that she has to come back to the village, she said she was going to do it at the start. Naruto smiles and tells her that he's going to help beat Orochimaru with Jiraiya. He then summons a giant stone figure. As he had done with Gaara, he pushes his hands together and creates shadow clones so that he can help control the earth. As he walks forward to the giants of Gamabunta and the snake that Orochimaru is riding, Jiraiya can sense this. Him and Orochimaru turn to see Naruto with about 100 shadow clones, all standing on top of a giant stone golem. This golem Naruto has created is being actually just a ton of earth being bent by his shadow clones. Naruto is commanding his shadow clones to go forward and use strikes. He then forms his own blade. He creates a stone blade out of earth and uses it to slash Orochimaru. He says, "Giants, strike of the giant god, earth slash." He then slashes the sword down on top of the snake's head, almost making it disappear instantly back to where it was summoned. Orochimaru begins to fall to the ground. Jiraiya desummons Gamabunta, falling after him. He then grabs Kabuto and escapes. Naruto hot on his heels, and as they disappear, without being able to get him, Naruto slams his fist into the golem, and it begins disappearing back into dust on the ground. His shadow clones disappear, and Naruto falls, his hand bleeding, him bleeding pretty much everywhere. He looks to Jiraiya and tells him he's sorry that he's failed him, and that he'll do better next time. He then proceeds to pass out, and Naruto goes into a dreamlike state, where he can only see a gray void and hear voices. Jiraiya picks him up and tells him that he did good, and then him, Tsunade, and Jiraiya begin to head back to the Hidden Leaf Village. Jiraiya is proud of Naruto, and Naruto has a long way to go, but he believes that Naruto might be the boy from the prophecy that he thought of long ago. Now, if you guys like this part, then make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and tell me any suggestions for this video or any of my other what-ifs. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Let's get to 300 subscribers. We got 10 more to go. I love y'all. Bye. It's black and white.